Strongly recommend elbow sleeves when it's cold out right now. If you're worried about keeping it raw for a meet, it's good to wear them during warm-ups. And then if you want to lose them for your single, you can. I wear a size XL. When it's cold out, these help your elbows feel amazing. Wrist straps are the 36-inch wrist straps. You can get all of this on markbellslingshot.com. 10% off if you use the code NICK10. Third set of 6, 315 pounds. Let's go. So I've said it a million times that the paused bench is the single best variation for anyone and everyone to start incorporating into their training to boost their bench. Most people will do touch and go reps. Touch and go meaning you're not pausing at all. You're just tapping your body and immediately pushing the bar back up. Many people turn it into a bit of a bounce. But with touch and go reps, what happens is people typically fail about halfway up the rep. They think it's their lockout. They start trying to train their lockout, and it doesn't go anywhere. They don't get any better. This is because most of the time, people are actually weak off the chest. If you only do touch and go reps all the time, you end up getting used to that bounce. And even if you do a very controlled touch and go rep, there's something called elastic tension that builds up. So your muscles are tense and contracted here, and then as you lower them, they're stretching, but they're still tense. They're still firing in all cylinders, and they're building up this energy that is waiting to snap back. That's elastic tension. That's elastic energy right there. So even if you're doing a very controlled touch and go, you're still using that elastic tension to help drive that bar up at the start, get a little bit of extra momentum there. So what happens is you're using so much momentum at the bottom to start the bar back in an upward direction after touching your body that you're never actually building the strength to control the bar at the bottom and explode from the bottom with raw brute strength, because you simply never have to. The momentum's starting it for you. So with this lack of strength from the start, what happens is momentum runs out halfway up, and then your muscles have to take over, but you just have not built that strength from here to here up yet. So you have nothing left in the tank to help you push through that sticking point and lock the bar out. That's why most people fail around midway up the rep when they don't do a lot of pause reps. So I always tell everybody to do pause reps. This will help you train control at the bottom for one. You're gonna get very comfortable with controlling the bar here, doing a soft touch, not letting it sink into your body, so it's very controlled, and you're still responsible for holding that bar up, suspending it with your arms, with your chest, with your muscles. You're not just letting it rest on your body. That right there is fatiguing, and if you can build up strength in just doing that alone, that's gonna build so much more stamina in your press. And then also, you're forced to just explode from a dead stop. Boom, straight up. That requires just brute strength. There's no bounce, there's momentum to help you out. That's the basis of why I think practicing pause reps is the single best variation anybody can implement to just better their bench press. But how exactly do you do that, and should you just do only pause reps? Is touch and go useless? So I wanted to make this video really quick to clear that detail up. I do believe touch and go can be beneficial, and I believe it can have its place in your workout program, especially depending on what your weaknesses are. One downside, one negative of doing all pause reps is it can slow you down a little bit. If you're someone who's not very explosive and fast bar speed, meaning how fast you can just drive that bar back up to a lockup, if you are slow with the bar speed, if that's a weakness for you, you're very slow on the way back up, pausing too much, just doing all pause reps multiple days per week, that might fatigue you enough to where it makes your bar speed even slower. It can really start slowing you down, because it makes sense. You get on here, you're pausing, that's using energy. Then you're exploding from a dead stop, that's using energy. All this is very taxing. So if you're already a little slow on the way up with a normal bench, adding a pause is just gonna make you that much slower. And if you never get down fast, explosive bar speed, you're gonna do well at building up that control at the bottom of the rep, but you're still gonna be missing that element of the bench that might still hold your bench press back a lot. What I recommend doing is, if you're benching, say, 2 times a week, perhaps have one day be paused, maybe the other day be a very controlled touch and go. I like personally benching 3 times a week. I think that's great. Bench press loves frequency, guys. The more you can bench throughout the week while still recovering, the better. And that depends on you, what you respond to, and what you're used to. I know powerlifters that bench 5 times a week. I've done it 4 times a week. 3 times a week is a nice sweet spot for me. I like 3 times a whole lot. And I've made gains off 2 times a week. But what I recommend doing is, like for me right now, I have a pause day, a competition pause day. Then I have a day in the middle where it's touch and go. This gives me a break from the pause. It gives my body a break from the taxation of pausing. Because pausing and then exploding from a dead stop, it's kind of like a deadlift. It's recruiting the muscle fibers in a way that's more taxing on them than normal. So to give my body a little bit of a break, but still allow me to bench press and get that frequency and get the volume in, I throw in a touch and go day. Also, just to still promote fast, explosive reps on the way up, get that speed in there, I do the touch and go day. This allows me to move the bar nice and fast, keep that speed training going. And then on my third day, I'll do another variation. Like right now, it's the Spoto press. I might, if this training cycle is a Spoto press, next training cycle might be a 2-second long pause or a 3-second long pause, an exaggerated long pause, which again works on just building up that strength at the bottom and that explosion leaving your body. But either way, you get my point. So one day is a competition pause, not a long pause at all, just bringing the bar to a complete stop, making sure there's absolutely no bounce or momentum going on there, just enough to get the momentum out basically. Then day 2, touch and go for speed and give my body a break. Day 3, a much more taxing variation like the Spoto press, but with lighter weight, so I'm still able to exercise fast bar speed. So day 3 is like a nice combination of we're practicing control at the bottom, we're building it in a very taxing way, but we're using light enough weight for this variation to where the bar speed is still nice and fast. My competition day, that's a heavy ass weight. So, you know, my bar speed's pretty good now because of where I'm at in my training, but in general, that might be the day where my bar speed does start to slow down, if it's gonna slow down on any of these days. But I'm really building up that power from the bottom and a nice clean press all around. Day 2 is my speed day, a little bit of recovery. It allows me to bench more while not killing myself and getting that bar speed in there. Day 3 is a nice, sweet, happy medium of both, really hammering away at that pause and still allow me to exercise fast bar speed. So wanted to touch that up really quick and make that clear. Pauses are amazing. I personally switched to all pause reps for a while during my training and it benefited me greatly, but you have to base it on where you're at. There was a point in time where my bench was really starting to climb nicely, but my bar speed was really starting to take a hit. I wasn't moving the bar very fast at all. It was when I was brand new to a wide grip and just getting used to that. So what we would do is to work on control, I would do 3-second negatives, tempo reps, which are amazing. Again, they fatigue you and they work on building a nice groove and a nice path of motion, but I wouldn't do any sort of pausing. I'd go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi on the way down. As soon as I touch my chest, boom, explode back up immediately. This allowed me to still practice fast bar speed while getting in that weak point training at the same time. So the theme of this video, guys, my main point here is switch it up and get a nice blend in there. I really highly recommend you put at least 1 day of pause repping into your repertoire, even if it's not long pauses, just coming to a complete stop in the chest so there's no bounce. And then if you have trouble making that bar move fast, it's not springy on the way back up, throw in a second day of perhaps touch and go reps, or perhaps slow negatives, 1, 2, 3 on the way down with a fast touch and explosion back up.